Okie dokie. Let's talk a little bit about tertiary colors, or another word for that is intermediate colors. So in your notes, you probably see these words being interchanged, but that's what we're going to be doing next. So like I said, this is a little review of what was said in the other video, but what I would do is I would apply your yellow, red, and blue first. Then go with your secondary colors, your orange, your green, and your violet. And then lastly, then do your intermediate colors or tertiary colors that you guys are going to be doing. So you can see these two tertiary colors where we're good to go on that, and the others we're going to have to mix to make it happen. So here's the deal. Whenever you are applying these things, what you've got to decide in your head, and I'll tell you the answer of this, but when you're mixing yellow and orange to make yellow orange, the first thing that you guys are going to put down first is the lightest color. Now between these two, obviously we've got yellow, which is going to be the lightest color. What you guys are going to be doing, your goal here is to match the intensity of what this yellow is here whenever you first apply this. So I did half of this for you guys to kind of see what my goal is. So what you would do, just like what I did before when I colored that yellow orange in my, or the red orange, excuse me, in the first video, you're going to outline like this whole thing, okay? And then you're going to do your up and down like you're gonna hatch, right? Now I'm not pressing down too hard. I'm actually going really light. This is semi-transparent. And then you're gonna go this way horizontally, okay? And then you're going to do your little circles. This is hard to demonstrate in a yellow because it's kind of hard for you guys to see it on the video, I would assume. So hopefully these other colors will transfer a little bit better. Okay, so you got that. It's a nice flat application. If you look over at the yellow, that's why I'm telling you guys to add these colors first, like these two first before you go with this one, so you'll know what in the world to do. Your goal here is to match the heaviness, I would say. This is not, if you look at the orange, it is semi-transparent, right? So you're still going for a semi-transparentness when you're adding this. Now, I would go rather light with the orange because you don't want the orange to overtake this yellow that you initially added. So be very conservative. You don't want there to be this waxy type sheen really when you guys are working. Some color pencil applications that I teach, say in level 2 and level 3, you're going to have layering and value shading and all those things that you know, that are great. But what we're trying to do truly is just try to get a consistent even color here. So I've gone up and down, and it looks pretty pretty good here, just to evenly make this color happen on here. I am very lightly putting these little bitty tight circles on that little section there. So what I would recommend y'all do too, when you're coloring these things, if you're sitting down, I would stand up, ask yourself, you know, are things even? Sometimes you see things a little differently when you look at something from a distance. So the next thing we are going to do is we're going to go with the green and blue colored pencil. So this is blue-green, technically, that's what it's called. So the lightest between the green and the blue you have is green here. Now I had to put a little piece of tape on this blue because dadgummit, it looks purple. So if you have a hard time with that, there is nothing wrong with that. Or if some of you guys or gals, if you're colorblind, and I've taught several folks who are throughout the years, there's nothing wrong with reading your labels. You're gonna have to double, triple check things. I know things take quite a long time to do if you are color blind. I know you can see color, obviously, but you may have a hard time with contrast with colors if you're colorblind. So the goal here, as you know, I am trying to match the intensity and the heaviness of the green that is right here. And I think I've done okay here. I'm gonna do my little circles in a space. And it is semi-opaque, okay? And then the next thing I'm going to do is I am adding my blue here. Go a little bit lighter, I would say, with that second color, just like what we did with the yellow-orange on the orange part. I did have it just a little bit lighter there. So I'm going to go up and down. And then I'm going to go horizontally. And then I'm going to finish it out with some circles. The main thing is you obviously want your blue-green to be different from your green, and obviously different from your green. You want it obviously different than your blue, but you want it a really nice, harmonious transition, I would say, in your colors when you're doing this. And if in question, just look at my example and you should be good to go. Okay, so that's good. All right, so the next one we're doing is our blue and our violet. And holy moly, it's hard to tell the difference. So I'm going to be going back and forth. So the darkest color on the color wheel is violet, as we know. Hopefully you guys studied that. So we're going to hold off on the violet, and we're going to put that second. So we're starting with our lighter color, and we're going to try to match this blue right here. So the intensity of the blue. So whatever your base tone is, you're going to match that color. So I outlined, I'm going up and down. Okay, I'm making my circles, making things even while looking over at this. So I'm constantly, you can't see my face, but I'm constantly flipping my vision over back and forth and that sort of thing. I know this is an odd thing to say, but if you have a hard time seeing contrast and things of that nature, you can literally squint your eyes and get your eyes out of focus, and you could tell if this blue matches this blue. It is a tip, and it does actually work. Seems strange, but it works. Okay, so we did that base tone. It's looking pretty good. We're going to outline with our purple, and keep in mind purple is a very aggressive color, so you got to be careful with that purple not to get it too dark too quick, because it can like take over real soon. One thing that I will tell you, if you do have issues with your colors getting too dark and you're like, what do I do besides erase everything? Yeah, I mean, you can erase these colored pencils. They may not completely erase, but you can use your art eraser, or you know, mechanical pencil erasers are okay, but your art eraser, you can use that on here. Another thing you can do, and I mean, I feel like I'm doing decent on this. One other thing that you can do is you can take your, if you have an eraser, like an art eraser like this, or a kneaded eraser, you can take it, and you know how your mom or your dad shows you how to remove a stain? You can take it and like blot it, and it will fade that particular area. You see how I like pulled out a little light area? So if you went over it in a heavier layer that you didn't really mean to do, you can always do that And then, you know, if you need to go back or whatever, if you took off too much or whatever, you certainly can. But that is definitely a tip that I think is helpful. So don't, you know, unless you're, you know, it's an emergency or whatever, you can erase. There's nothing wrong with erasing what you have. You're going to have a little stain on there. Okay, so the next little thing we have is red violet. So of course our red is going to be lighter than the violet. Red is a color that tends to want to streak, and it just is. And so I would say be very careful and apply this very lightly. I will say I'm probably going a little bit faster than what you need to do because I'm trying to make this video less than 12 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever for you guys, so I can hold your attention. But just know this does take longer than what I am doing here. So the intensity of this red needs to match this red. As we know, this does not look like that red, so got to finish out your step and do your little circles. And you know, red is something, it's a great color, but you got to be really patient with it. Okay, that's looking pretty close. Got this little white looking streak right here. Okay, and so the next thing, we've got our purple. As we know, our purple is very dominating, so we got to be careful. And if you go outside of the little thing like I did, just take your eraser, kind of blot it, and it should fade enough, you know, or all together there. If your eraser is really thick, one of the things you could do is take scissors or a knife or X-Acto knife, and you can cut a little corner off your eraser, and you'll have this teeny tiny eraser to use for little mishaps like those. So I would definitely use that. Okay, and I'm just going back and forth, cross hatching, doing my little circles and trying to make it even. And I'm at the same time, what I'm trying to do is I'm asking myself, you know, do these visually flow? Is there enough of a difference that I did between this and this that makes it a very even distribution between the two, the primary and the secondary color? And I would say yes. So yay. So I did that. Okay, so the next video, and yes, we're at the 13 mark, almost here. The next video we're going to be doing is on the monochromatic color scheme. So you guys, I think you're going to enjoy that. All right.